Shalom, family. It's your man Elijah. Thank you for joining me in Unsectarian Wisdom as usual. I'm a healthy, wise, strong, protected, celestial king that is loved by the Most High Creator. Alright, family, you see it on the screen. We'll talk about the TV series tonight called From. My mother brought this to my attention today. I had recommended this show to her probably a few months back because I had been watching it, and it's in its second season right now. Matter of fact, the last episode was probably maybe about 3 weeks ago. Maybe 2, I could be lying, but something around there. So, and I noticed as I watched the show, one, it's actually, to me, it's a pretty entertaining show. It's a good show. I did notice certain spiritual aspects, trickled in through the show. Things I was like, okay, that's interesting. But I never saw the bigger picture of the show until my mother mentioned something. I was speaking to my mom's today, and she said she was watching some TikTok video about the 3 days of darkness. And she said that the guy mentioned that the show From in this TikTok video was about the 3 days of darkness. And at the time, I never thought about it because I'm thinking, is it? It just kind of hit me like, is the show From really about 3 days of darkness? And then it just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. It just started coming in. I was like, oh snap, it is. It's just, it was written in a certain way to where, like I said, unless you got the understanding, it's not going to make sense. But I'm going to break it down to you. But I'm going to go ahead and get in and start telling you guys what the show is about. So the show is about people from different parts of the United States, whether East Coast, West Coast, down South, Midwest. At some point, they were all driving, I would say mostly it sounded like people ended up driving like through the countryside, whether it be on a road trip or going to visit someplace. And essentially, all of them always came up eventually. I guess they all made a turn on a certain road somewhere. And they were all in different parts of the country. But they all ended up coming to a certain point in the road to where there was a tree laying in the middle of the road. And matter of fact, as I'm looking at this picture, this is interesting. The town, I don't know if this is how it looked in the show, but I don't remember it showing this area, but it's funny. The town looks like a tree. And then I would say that the dead tree in the middle of the road now, thinking about it, is an example of the tree of life. But in the show, the tree is laying on the ground as dead. So it gives an ominous symbol of death, that where they're going is full of death, right? And matter of fact, now I'm thinking about the show, even thinking about this, I'm just realizing this right now. So that death, remember, death is rebirth. How do you get to the other side? How do you get to, it's through death. So anyway, not to say go hurt yourself, and that's what I'm saying. I'm just, know that death is rebirth, family. Anyway, so once these people get into this, so once they come to this dead tree in the road, they usually go around the tree and then they'll come to this town. And when they get to the town, usually because that's not where they want to be, obviously, because they're on a road trip going somewhere else, but they have no choice whether or not to be here. So what they usually do is they keep driving. And once they keep driving, they realize that the road keeps bringing them back to this town until eventually they accept the fact and realize that the road they're on is a big circle that's going to keep bringing them back to the town, and now they're trapped. Now, there was a point in the show where a few characters tried to walk out of the area where they've been transported, because apparently, essentially, they've been transported to, maybe it's like another dimension, or maybe they're in some place that has a dome over it. I don't know. But they all ended up somewhere contrary to where they were trying to go. And remember, they were all transported somehow from different portions of the United States to this one place, to where they're now trapped. And like I said, some people tried to walk out, but they ended up back in the town. They can't leave. Some forces that are in charge there, whatever, for the most part, won't let them leave. So, but here's the thing. So now that they're in this dimension, in this town, the people learn that, look, during the day, so there is daytime and nighttime in this place. During the daytime, everything's good, like any regular day. Go about your business, do whatever you're doing. But by the time the sun goes down, you have to go hide, because at nighttime these creatures come out. I would describe these creatures like cannibalistic vampires. They're vampires, but not vampires that drink blood, but vampires that eat people, eat their flesh, eat their organs, eat their insides like a zombie. But they're more vampire-like. The people talk. They're very pale though. The people are very pale, have very pale skin, the monsters. And they're dressed like people from they're dressed like people from the 1950s and 1960s. So And at night, these people come out of a cave and they walk around the town and they'll talk to you. They'll say hi. They'll smile in your face. But if you get too close to them, they'll end up eating you alive. They'll end up killing you. So at night, the people who get trapped in this town, who drive in circles, they learn that, like I said, they have to hide at night. But one day, one of the new visitors who comes into town, he ends up being I'm just gonna call him a Hebrew Israelite, whether he knows it or not. But that's who he is. But he ends up one day going into the forest. I think he was looking for food, but he ends up running into this almost like Indian burial looking ground, or Indian, what I want to call it, like worship site, or whatever. Like it's a formation built by, you could tell, by ancient Indians or Native Americans, whatever you want to call it. But the true term is Indians. But so anyway, when he goes inside, he ends up finding these rocks with writing on them, with symbols on them. And when I first saw the rocks, I was thinking more Druid. I was thinking, okay, that kind of looks like some Celtic writing, some Druid writing, right? But that was so far away because at the time, like I said, I enjoyed the show. Regardless of the little spiritual stuff, I enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. So I wasn't really too deep into it, looking too deep into it spiritually at the time, because I was enjoying it. I was like, okay, there's not a lot of good movies and shows in my opinion lately. So when you find a good one that I enjoyed it. So I was watching it. Anyway, at first I was thinking from, quick glance, and that the writing on the rocks were Druid, kind of Celtic looking, which they kind of looked to me from far away. But upon further examination today, after my mother mentioned the man saying that the show was about the 3 days of darkness, I always remember the talisman, right? The talisman that they used, because this talisman, what the man found, he found out that whenever you go in a house at night, if you put this talisman on the side of your door, the monsters cannot enter your house. If you don't have the talisman on your door, then the monsters will be able to enter the house and eat you alive. So anyway, so now fast forward again, speaking to my mom, I go back and I'm like, let me go find a picture of this medallion or this talisman that they put on the doors, so I can zoom in and look. And as I look at it today, man, so let me show you guys what this has to do with the 3 days of darkness, right? So, before I even go, let me just explain a little bit. So the reason that it has to do with the 3 days of darkness, family, even though it's not 3 consecutive days or more days within darkness, because there is daytime and nighttime in the show, as we see today, the message is, at the end of the day, when it gets dark at night, they have to go inside. And they go inside, and when they go inside, they cover up all their windows with curtains, right? And they put the talisman on the door. 3 days of darkness. What have we been learning about 3 days of darkness, family? When you go inside, you can't open up the door. No matter what you hear, you're going to hear sounds. And like I said, those creatures will come to the door in this show form, and they'll knock on the door and talk to the people inside. They'll be like, hey, why don't you come open up? Please help me. They'll say stuff like that, or they might even make the sounds of people that you know, right? And this is what the monsters do. They imitate people or they imitate they might sound like old people. They might sound like someone who needs help. Or if you open up the window and look at them, or if you stare at them too long, like for instance, if you're new to the town and you don't really know what's going on, or don't even truly believe it at all yet, you'll be in the house and open up your blinds and talking to one of the creatures through the window. They'll be looking at you, and it's almost like they mesmerize you. But the more that you come into the truth, the harder it is for them to mesmerize you, and it just really comes down to you being dumb and opening up the door. Like these creatures will visit people in dreams. They'll do all types of things to try to trick people to open up the doors and come outside. So that's, once again, 3 days of darkness. You can't walk outside. That's the premise of the TV show. Once the sun goes down at night, you cannot go outside, otherwise the creatures will get you. Or if you keep your blinds open, you run the risk of them, in a way, mesmerizing you and convincing you to open up the doors. Especially, like I said, they get to little children easily because they don't know no better. Or like I said, new people who just got trapped in the town recently who still haven't accepted the truth will open the door. So like I said, they'll imitate the voices of people and, try to trick you. So there's those. But like I said, or as we've been learning too about the days of darkness, and this will also take you back to Exodus, right? To before they left, the night of Passover. or before Passover. What does it say in the Bible? Passover. You're supposed to put blood over your door, right? So during this time, if you have some, as it speaks about 3 days of darkness, whenever this time comes, if you got some blessed oil, put the blessed oil. But also, print out yourself a copy of the 10 Commandments. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'll explain it as I watch this video. Like I said, they're putting the truth in these TV shows and stuff, family. It's just, but you have to have the wisdom and stuff to decipher it. So, but then also in Harvest Men and her show, put the 10 Commandments on your door. Put the 10 Commandments. I remember I did this years ago when I was living someplace, and I hadn't done it since. And it came back to my spirit a few months ago to do it. I just never got around to it, but I'm gonna do it again. Is that I remember years ago, I just wanted, when I was really going through my when I was really started getting to the Bible and started going down this path, I had this desire to put the 10 Commandments, tape them on my front apartment door where I was staying at the time, and I did. So that kind of just reminded me right now, even with the show, the Talisman, that's representation of the 10 Commandments. So them putting the talisman near the door is representation of the blood, which over the door, which represents those who follow Christ, the spilling of the blood, a future omen of the coming of the Messiah. But also blessed oil for our time will be so go ahead, put blessed oil on your doorknobs. Put it on your baseboards of your front door. Put blessed oil on all the window entrances of your house. And make sure you put the 10 Commandments. Tape the 10 Commandments on your front door. If you got a backyard, a back door, or a patio door like some people apartments, and you have a patio, go ahead and tape that 10 Commandments on your patio door as well, or your back door. You know what I'm saying? If you have a garage, go ahead and put the 10 Commandments on your garage door, on the outside and on the inside. I'm not telling you to put it on the windows of your house. If you don't worry about it. Just at least, well, look, if you have it in your spirit to put on every window, that's on you. You could do that. I'm not telling you not to. Sound like a great idea. But at least, if you can only get one copy of the 10, it don't have to be a stone, family. You go to your computer, print out a picture of the 10 Commandments, tape it on your front door. You ain't got to get all crazy with it. Or if you got some parchment paper, write the 10 Commandments on that paper yourself. By hand, write the 10 Commandments by hand and tape it on your front door. I would say at the least, if you have some blessed oil, know somebody, put that on the front door, on your front and back, on the baseboards, on the outside baseboards, like the top and bottom of your front and back door, and put 10 Commandments on your front and back door. Or if you have an apartment, on your front door and on your patio door, put the 10 Commandments and put blessed oil on the top. Or if you don't have blessed oil, put the 10 Commandments on your front door and your back door, or your front door and your patio door. So that's what's in this show. And during that time, make sure you're reading the Bible. If you got some candles, get you some candles. What else? So anyway, yeah, the show. So the talismans. That's why they're putting them by the door. What else? Like I said, I'm trying to give you guys a symbolism of the 3 days of darkness in the show. Where's I at? The monsters try to get in. So yeah, they cover the windows. Don't look out the windows at night. Which is that familiarity with the 3 days of darkness with the show. But then also, let's go ahead and let me show you guys something. So this is the medallion I'm talking about, right? And this is a scene I want to show you. I took a screenshot of one of the people in the town putting the medallion up. This is the front door, next to the front door. It's inside the house, but you want to, even though in the show it's inside the house, you want the 10 Commandments to be outside on the front door outside. You don't want it inside. I mean, if you want to have one inside the house, that's fine too. But I think it defeats the purpose. The point is to let the death angel know not to come in your house. So you put it on the outside of the front door. So you put the 10 Commandments on the outside of your front door, right? So, but now here, looking at this rock, I want to see now if anything looks familiar in this rock as we're looking at it. I'm going to zoom in on it. This is the rock. This is the writing and symbolism on the rock. This rock has a certain power that protects the house from these monsters coming in, right? Now, here's another screenshot. Doesn't something look familiar on this rock, family? And I didn't notice this till today, till my mom mentioned it. And I went back, and I wanted to go, do something. I didn't notice this till today. This looks like two people on the rock, right? And what else you got? You got a sun, and you see the symbol. What is this symbol on this rock, family? And remember, this is in America. And remember, I told you he found these rocks that looked like it was an ancient Indian mound. Or not even a mound, but some ancient structure the Indians built back in the day, right? It was made out of stone, and these stones were in the walls. And this is what he took, which now protects the people's houses, so they, so they can be protected at night from the monsters, right? So look at this wall. Well, look at these symbols. Look at it. Don't it look like there's somebody with his hands up praising? And then what? Praising what? Then what is that? A sun? There's a sun right there, right? Praising what? The Messiah, Come on, family, symbolism. And what is this sign, right? Look at the rock. Okay, let's go. Don't that look familiar? Don't it look kind of like that? What is that? That hay? Don't it kind of look? See this symbol right here, the hay, from the great name of I am that I am. And look, it almost looks like in this letter, it looked like hands going up, praising. And we'll go back to the medallion that keeps the monsters out. Look at this medallion, hands up, praising. There's that hay symbol. Come on, family. Right? See, hey, the letter hey, right? From the Hebrew alphabet, ancient Hebrew, not modern day. So you've seen the familiar, family. Look, Hebrew writing on it to keep what? The monsters out of your home. Now here's a picture of a rock that I think this is one of the rocks, family, that they said they found in the Grand Canyon. An ancient Indian relic that has what? Hebrew writing on it in the Grand Canyon. Why is there ancient Hebrew writing on a rock in the Grand Canyon, family? And once again, on the show, Medallion, a rock with ancient writing on it, a show that takes place in America. They live in the forest. He found these rocks on an ancient Indian mound. What are they trying to tell us? Once again, there's those symbols, and that's on the rock, the hay symbol. All right. The Indian rock again. Here's another image of it. Let y'all look at it for a second. Like I said, I think this is the one that was found. I believe, I could be wrong, do your research, but I think this is the one that was found in the Grand Canyon. It wasn't in the Grand Canyon, it was somewhere in the East Coast or Arizona. Is it Arizona, Grand Canyon, or somewhere on the East Coast? The Grand Canyon doesn't only run through Arizona, family. It runs through Colorado and Utah as well. Here's some more pictures of ancient stones that they found in the Americas with Hebrew writing on them. Remember, family, remember when I was reading from the book of Nephi, the book of Mormon, a book about the Israelites living in the Americas? Family, the book of Mormon, especially for my Hebrew Israelite people, that's our book as well, not just the Bible. That's our book, that's our people's, that has the history of our people in it as well. For my star seeds out there, those who cling, the Book of Mormon is real. I'm not telling you to go join that organization that is here today. I'm not telling you to do that. But I will tell you to go get that Book of Mormon and go read it. All right? Am I yelling? I sound like I'm yelling. All right, here's another one. Here's another rock that they found with Hebrew writing on it. A rock shaped in the form of an Indian arrowhead with Hebrew writing on it, found in the Americas. All right, now here's a rock that they found in New Mexico, right? And they said they found this etched into it. And what they said this is, family, is what? It's a rock. It's got the 10 Commandments on it. This is a rock that they found in New Mexico that they said was put there by Indians. Right? And I'm going to read you guys an article that I found about it online. And honestly, I've heard this before. Some of y'all probably heard this before, but I didn't get too much into it. It was just in passing when I was watching some videos. The 10 Commandments in the New Mexico desert. And here's the website up here, historydaily.org, 10 Commandments. So, look, I did a screenshot because the page, when I was trying to bring it up, family, it has so many pop-ups and stuff. It was just, I know it wouldn't work while I did the video. It would cause the computer to go slow. So I just took a screenshot of the page. But here's the URL if you want to go type it in and go look at it yourself. Let me zoom in on it for you. Well, yeah. Well, if you can see it as best you can right here. URL right there. You can go to the page and read it yourself at History Daily. Or just type in this right here and put History Daily. It should come up on Google. Alright, so this is the History Daily page, and I'm just going to read it. Deep in the desert of New Mexico, near the town of Los Lunas, about 35 miles south of Albuquerque, is a strange carved stone that some people claim is evidence that the lost tribe of Israel somehow made their way to the New World and journey into the American Southwest. As improbable as this sounds, the tangible proof is there for all to see. carved into a large boulder that has come to be known as the Los Lunas Decalogue Stone. Is this stone genuine proof of a Jewish presence in pre-Columbian America, or, as critics claim, a modern-day hoax? Let's look at both sides of the story. So you want to read that? The stone's discovery. The oral stories claim that the people knew about the Los Lunas Decalogue Stone as far back as the 1850s. But at least one person, Franz Hunning, claimed in 1871 that local Native Americans informed him that the stone was already there when their ancestors arrived in the region. Remember there's a difference between Native American Indian family. Ancestors arrived in the region. Official credit to discovering the stone goes to Frank Hibben, a professor at the University of New Mexico. Hibben was shown the rock by a local resident of the area who says he had learned about the carved stone when he was a child back in the 1880s. Hibben claims that when he found the rock, it was covered in lichen and here indistinguishable from other rocks in the area. The stone carvings, the 80-ton Los Lunas Decalogue stone is carved on one flat side with a passage from Exodus in the Hebrew Old Testament listing the Ten Commandments and Paleo-Hebrew writing. Hibben and others dated the stone carving to more than 1,500 years before Columbus visited the New World and offered it as proof that Jewish travelers, possibly the lost tribe of Israel, made it to the American Southwest. A mineralogist named George Morehouse examined the carving on the stone in 1985 and concluded that the engravings were between 500 and 2,000 years old based on weathering patterns. Alright, but that's all I have about that, family. And I wanted to show you. So, Indians wrote 10 Commandments on the rock. And I just wanted to basically put the puzzle pieces together of what this is and what this has to do with the 3 days of darkness and the message that Harvest Men put out in that video I showed you when she said, basically I want to back it up, when she said put the 10 Commandments on your door. Now I'm telling you, put the 10 Commandments on your door. Put blessed oil on your door. Because whenever you read the Bible, family, especially the Book of Mormon, it always comes down back to one thing, right? It comes back down to the 10 Commandments, the laws given by the Creator. Everything comes down to the 10 Commandments. And the 10 Commandments summed up by Yahushua was to love the Creator with all your heart and to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And those encompass all the 10 Commandments, right? 10 Commandments, family. We're returning to the law. You know, that's what Passover and all these things, these are all things that lead you back to the Most High. The Most High will remind you of what? The 10 Commandments, family. So that's what you put on your door, that's what you put on your front door and your back door, your front door and your patio door, right? And your garage door as well. But anyway, family, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. If you want, go check out the show from. But I wanted to give you guys a understanding of that show. Like I said, it just hit me today. I didn't realize it till my mom's hit me up and told me about it. I don't know. She couldn't. I tried to look for the TikTok video she told me about, but I couldn't find it. And usually on TikTok, if you let a video go, you're not gonna find it no more unless you save it there. And she found it. So anyway, I just want to share. I thought that was interesting. That's on my spirit to share with you guys, family. Without further ado, family, thank you for joining me in Unsectarian Wisdom. As usual, I'm a healthy, wise, strong, protected, celestial being that is loved by the Most High Creator. Alright, family, Shalom. Be blessed.